All right, so we talked about your grip. We talked about trigger press, your stance, your posture. We've talked about sight alignment. Now we're going to actually engage a target. We're going to actually put all those methods into play. So we have our weapon, we have our magazine, which is indexed, placing it in, going into grip, dropping slide, engaging target. So that's how it should look at first. Now, as you build skill level, you'll develop speed. So when you get into a situation like that, then you want to start practicing some of those other methods we talked, maybe with tactical reloads. So when I draw my weapon, I'm in a situation, I got a closed slide on an empty gun. So I'll index my mag, slap it into position, charge the weapon, get on target, and fire. Now what we're going to look at is engagement of a target. But before we actually engage the target, I want to talk to you a little bit about understanding your target. Your target is cut into 4 quadrants. You got your low, your left, your right, and your high. So basically, these are going to represent whatever difficulty, obstacle, or problem that you've developed. If you're shooting low on the target, this is called anticipating the shot. This is where your body is so worried about that gun going off that at that very last minute, you're pushing forward to compensate for the recoil. And it's usually because shooting is new to you. And at the same time, that action, that rearward momentum is actually causing flinch. So you're shooting south. The best way to eliminate this problem is stop thinking about the trigger. Once you engage that trigger, it's perpetual motion. Forget about it. Move on to the sights. Maintain sight alignment at all times. Let that gun go off, be a surprise. And if you can do that, you'll hit that X. Now let's talk about the right-hand side. If you're a right-hand shooter and your impact is on the right-hand side of the target, that is your trigger control. Basically, instead of pressing, you're doing what we call hooking or pulling the trigger off target. So it can all be solved by reverting back to what we originally explained with trigger press and put the trigger on the middle of the end bone. Now, if you're shooting on the left-hand side, this is a different problem. It's still with trigger press, but instead of pulling it off, you don't have enough finger on your trigger. You're actually using your fingertip. So the momentum is actually shifting everything over to the left-hand side. So simple solution, once again, same as the right-hand side. Recenter your trigger press. Now, if you're shooting high, this is a clear example of poor sight alignment. Your sights need to be flush, top to top, with the target cut in half. And you need equal amounts of space between the front sights on either side, shadowing the rear sights. We've gone over that in detail under trigger press, and if this is a problem, I suggest going back to that and getting a better idea.